we have here is a statue representation of the last autocratic Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, standing with his wife Alexandra. They ruled over Russia during the European age of imperialism, attempting to keep the absolute power of their government, especially by instituting pogroms, or attacks on the Jews, to create a sense of nationalism. During this time, Nicholas was engaged in the Russo-Japanese War because of Japan's upset at Russia's expansion. This war caused great troubles with the empire, such as starvation and hunger, leading up to Bloody Sunday, where the peasants protested at the Winter Palace for food and to sustain themselves. This brutal massacre of the peaceful demonstrators led to the Revolution of 1905, with the revolt of the people for their civil liberties, which were granted by Nicholas II in his October Manifesto, along with the legislative assembly called the Duma. Even though these reforms didn't last long, Russia did become united in a loose confederation to further their own power by preventing Germany from growing with their Triple Entente alliance. While those reforms were going on through Russia, Nicholas and Alexandra were having problems at home with their son Alexis, a hemophiliac. However, when Gregory Rasputin, a Russian peasant, became a part of Alexandra's life, and she believed him to cure their son, they were thought to be lovers.
As the government started deteriorating, bread prices skyrocketed, and Petrograd women were waiting in lines for hours for bread. The situation worsened, and finally on March 8th, women started peacefully marching through the city demanding bread. Even though soldiers were ordered to break up the crowds, they soon joined the protests, and the government could no longer withstand the revolution. And so the provisional government was created as the Tsar was forced to abdicate, and the unintentional March Revolution was a success.
Here is a picture of the Russian communist leader Vladimir Lenin, who developed a theory of imperialism being brought about by a greater world capitalism. And he developed this theory in his book, Imperialism, the Highest Stage of World Capitalism. He later became the head of the Bolsheviks, leading them to become a party dedicated to violent revolution. As he rose to power, leading what was soon to become the Communist Party, he saw the reign of the weak provisional government as an opportunity for Bolshevik power, and during the November Revolution, he took action. He plotted the overthrow of the government with Trotsky, and together they seized the Winter Palace with their Bolshevik forces. The Prime Minister, Alexander Kerensky, and his provisional government collapsed quickly.
Here you see a video documentation of the Russian Civil War. This internal conflict was between the Bolshevik Red Party and the White Menshevik Party. The Reds were the extremists in Russia and were the proponents of the revolution, while the Whites were the opponents. This war lasted 3 years, and it caused shortages, famine, and disease, while millions died. The Bolsheviks ultimately won the war because the Whites were politically disunified. The political disunity of the White Party ultimately led to an overwhelming victory of the Red Party, and thus the Communist Revolution in Russia survived. During the war, the Bolsheviks enforced war communism. This means they nationalized the factories and introduced military discipline. They also made strikes illegal and rationed food. Peasants were also forced to give food to the government. This gave the Bolshevik armies the supplies they needed. The Red Party enforced this new war communism with the use of the Cheka. Although the revolution was to last the war, it was not to last forever. This happened when Lenin replaced war communism with his new economic policy. This began to restore the economy by placing all private enterprises into government hands. 2 white armies attacked Russia from the east and west, and the Tsar and his family were put to death. The Red Army was defeated in one battle, but ultimately the Red Party was the one to win.
The new communist government needed ways to keep peace with surrounding countries for the time being, and thus created the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk, giving eastern lands back to Germany.